alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers, sisters and brothers. Welcome back to the art of recitation of the Holy Quran from Safir TV. As every Wednesday, we are live from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And of course, the first part of our program was recitation of some verses of the Holy Quran. So I managed to recite until ayah number 27 of Surah Yasin. We start from the beginning of Surah Yasin until ayah number 27. Especially about the voice and tune, I tried to do the majority of melodies, especially I said some terminologies, the names, for example, Maqam Bayati, and then we did Maqam Rast, and then Ajam, Chaharga and Ajam, and then I think it was Nahawand, and then Hijaz, some part of course after Hijaz we did Kurd, and then some part of Sabah and Sabah Zamzam, different things, and at the end we finish again with Maqam Bayati. So inshallah about this lesson of voice and tune, inshallah, definitely when we finish the lesson of tajweed, we will start with the lesson of voice and then tune. Good. In this part, that is the teaching part of our program, but of course this is the continuation of the last week, because last week we managed to focus on the point of articulation of letters, and we had some slides, and today inshallah we'll carry on with this lesson. And in the third part of our program, brother Sayyid Ja'far al-Hakim, inshallah, he will join us. He is right now in the studio, but inshallah he will come in the third part of our program. So he is, mashallah, very active and mashallah able in the recitation of the Holy Quran, and inshallah he has hands in the recitation of the Holy Quran. You will see, inshallah. So in this part we are going to start the teaching part, the articulation point of letter. Meanwhile, if you have any question about the lesson of tonight, so you can call in and you can go ahead with your question. So we go again with our slides. We just briefly review everything we managed last week, and inshallah we'll carry on with the remaining of information. So the first slide is diagram about the articulation areas. As you see, we have 5 main sections in our speech system. The lowest part is our of course we manage always, we saying the empty mouth or throat area, because it's our speech first part and very important, and it is the longest section. We call it in Arabic jawf, and it is the empty area in our speech system. And then we have the throat, and then we have the tongue, and then we have the lips, and then we have the nose. In the empty mouth and empty part of mouth and throat space, we have just one articulation point. And in throat we have 3, in tongue we have 10, in lips we have 2, and in nose we have 1. We go to the next slide. In the next slide, it's the full information about jawf, or the empty space in the mouth and the throat. As you see, that green color is the jawf, and that is where we have the vowels, all the vowels we have from there. So especially the long vowels, and actually of course the short vowels. So that is the empty area, and we have for especially vowels, 6 vowels we have, 3 short vowels and 3 long vowels. And then we go to the next part, which is about the throat. Next slide is about throat, and you will see in throat, I want our colleague to show you that. You see the next section it's about throat. In throat we have 3 point of articulation, and in each point of articulation we have 2 letters. So in the deepest part and middle part and closest part, this space and naming of deepest part, middle part, closest part is all regards to our tongue. And of course, in the first section, which was Jove, we had just 1 point of articulation and 6 vowels. And now in throat, we have 3 points of articulation and 6 letters. In each point of articulation, 2 letters. Then we go to the next slide. And in the next slide, you will see the letters. Deepest part of our throat, we have Hamza and Ha, and then we have in the middle part we have Ain and Ha, and in the closest part we have Ghain and Kha. The pronunciation of Hamza and each letters, if you want to find the point of articulation of any letter, it's highly recommended to add Hamza maftuha, Hamza with fatha, at the beginning of each letter which is sakina. For example, letter Hamza, this you can find the Hamza, and letter Ha, you can say and letter Ain, you say and letter Ha, you can say and you can find the point of articulation. Letter Ghain, you can say you can find the point of articulation. And for letter Kha, you can say you can find the point of articulation. Then we go to the next slide. In the next slide, we go to mention the widest point of articulation in our speech system, the tongue. In tongue, we have 10 different articulation points, and the tongue produces the sound of 18 different letters. So we have 18 letters from our tongue, touching tongue in any different parts. So we have 10 points of articulation, and then we have 18 letters. And also you have to consider, you see there soft palate, where is soft palate and where is uvula. Two important things in the pronunciation of especially Lahawi letters, velar letters. And then we go to the next slide. You will see about tongue. Here is 5 important sections or areas in our tongue. Tongue is divided into 5 different areas. We have the deepest part of our tongue, which is close to the root of our tongue, and especially in front of our uvula and soft palate. And then we have the middle part of our throat with red color. So in that place also we have some letters like letter Jim, Ya and Shin. And then we have the head of our tongue, which is the light blue color, the head of our tongue. So that is the head of our tongue. And then we have the tip of our tongue, as you see, with the green color, and then the sides of our tongue with the black color. So these 5 sections, you have to use this like in your memory. You have to guess always when you pronounce any letter. You have to remind. When you say, for example, deepest part of our tongue, where is that exactly, as you see there. So we have 5 main areas in our tongue: the deepest part, middle part, head of our tongue, tip of our tongue, and sides of our tongue. So the 18 letters is pronounced from one of these 5 sections. Then we go to the next slide, and in the next slide you will see the soft palate and hard palate. The hard palate is the top roof area near the teeth. The soft palate, deepest part of the roof near the throat. When we have soft palate, of course that part is really soft. And when we say the hard palate, that part is hard. So we have soft palate and hard palate in our mouth. In the next slide, you will see the first letter in our tongue. Letter Qaf. I highly recommend you to write letter qaf with double A, so you should know that is long vowel. We say qaf. Of course, here is written qaf, but it is not long vowel. So that is the deepest part of tongue touches the soft palate. The root of your tongue or the deepest part of your tongue touches the soft palate. That is the point of articulation of letter qaf. When we say up, 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 that is qaf. Then we go to the next slide. So that's about letter qaf, and then we go to the letter kaf. Letter kaf is more forward towards our lips. Of course, we use some part of soft palate and also hard palate for letter kaf. Usually we say we use the majority part is hard palate, because when we say ak, ak, in this case is the sound of letter kaf. So for qaf we see ak, it's towards the throat, but for kaf is towards our mouth part, our lips part. We say ak, ak, akramu, akramu, aqbalu, aqbalu. So totally different. And then we go to the next slide. It's just a review of the previous lesson. We had deepest part of the tongue and the soft palate. As you see, two colors, qaf and kaf. So you're using these two colors to show you that the qaf is more forward toward our throat. Next slide is about letter jim, shin, and ya. In this slide you will find three letters, jim, shin, and ya. We pronounce from the middle part of our tongue, which touches the opposite hard palate. The touching of letter jim is more than letter shin and ya. Even for letter shin we don't have touching, and for letter ya the same. Ay, when we say, especially we don't have that touching. Excuse me. So letter jim, shin, and ya, we pronounce them from the middle part of our tongue. So the middle part of our tongue touches the opposite hard palate. For example, when we say aj, 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 jim touches the middle part, touches the opposite hard palate because of its quality of shadda. The quality of shadda is the quality of imprisonment, and that is the quality which the voice is cutted and is going to be disconnected in the pronunciation of this letter. So we say aj, aj, and then we say ash, ash, ash. It has one of the important quality with this letter is the quality of tafashi. Inshallah later on we'll explain. And then we have letter ya, ay, 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 in the middle part of our tongue. We go to the next slide. To the okay, we explained this last week about the names of our teeth, so you have to know central incisor, all of them, molars, everything. We go to the next slide. Of course, I know you know this. Next slide is about the most difficult letter in Arabic alphabet, especially in the recitation of the Holy Quran. Letter Dad. So actually we use the left part of our tongue touching the upper molars, and at the same time it should have the quality of istitala, which is just for this letter. Inshallah we'll explain this in the pronunciation of letters and the quality of letters. So we say ab, 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 like this. You use the left part of your tongue. Ab, ab, ab. Then we go to the next slide. It is about lam. For letter lam, we use the especially side, the front side of the tongue touches the upper front teeth. And of course, it's not exactly the teeth. It's just exactly the because letter lam is special. Lam is not like other letters. When we say al, we use for the letter lam the tip of our tongue also, and also we use the side of our tongue. So that is the reason this letter sometimes has the quality of taghlib and sometimes it has the quality of tarqiq. When we say al, when we use the tip of our tongue, usually it has the quality of tarqiq. When we use the sides of our tongue, usually it has the quality of taghlib. So you have to take care. Actually, the point of articulation of this letter, lam, is dhalaq. Especially the tip of our tongue touches the upper gum. But this letter is really special. Inshallah, in its lesson, we will explain this. Then we go to the letter noon. When we say an, tip of the tongue touches the gum of the two top front teeth. So the upper incisors gum. So when we say an, tip of our tongue plus the quality of ghunna. That's for letter noon. So noon has one specific quality, that is the quality of ghunna, which is really important. So at the same time, when you pronounce letter noon, we have to pronounce the quality of ghunna. I think we are really short in time, and dear viewers, we will continue this lesson next week. We are due for a break, and inshallah we'll see you after a very short break. And of course our guest reciter, brother Sayyid Ja'far al-Hakim, is getting ready to join us. Please be with us. We'll see you very shortly after break. Thank you.